Chakra yoga at the yoga space. So we'll just start in a comfortable position. So kneeling or sitting, wherever you're most comfortable. It's better for me to kneel at the moment. But if you're comfortable to sit cross-legged, that's fine. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the process of the class. So some of you will probably have more knowledge than me of chakras, and some of you won't even know what they are. So sort of the 7 main chakras, starting at the base of the tailbone where the perineum is, all the lower part of the spine, and then coming up through the spine to the crown of the head. So the first chakra is your root. It's really where the perineum and the tailbone is. The second one is where the pelvic floor is. So it's really also low down. I feel like those two are quite connected. So one supports the other. And that's more about flow, sensuality, sexuality, play, joy. So it's a bit more element of water. The third chakra is fire in the belly. So it's around the navel, and it's really where our center of power is. So all the poses like Utkatasana, plank pose, all the things where we're really using that strong energy in the core of the body. It's also about your self-confidence, self-esteem. And then moving on up to the heart center, I mean, fairly obvious, all our emotional love, being loved, being able to be open. And then the throat is more about communication, asking for what we want, saying clearly what we want. The 6th chakra is in the 3rd eye, which is behind the eyes towards the middle of the skull. And that's linked into intuition, knowing what we want. And then the final chakra is right at the crown of the head, which is the ultimate place for non-attachment and letting go, which is what yoga is all about. So in most classes, we will touch on the energy lines of the chakras, but if for this class I thought we'd work our way through from the base up. So sitting or kneeling wherever you're comfortable. I think I'll come to sitting now. So we'll just take a breath now. So feel the tailbone coming down, and then bring the hands to the side of the pelvis. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart center. Take the hand up to the throat, thumbs to the 3rd eye, and then lifting up to the top. Inhale here, exhale. So we'll do that again. I'll talk about the colors. So tailbone is red, pelvis, orange, belly, your center of power, yellow, heart center, green, throat chakras, blue, intuition, 3rd eye, indigo or violet, crown chakra, white. Inhale, exhale. Let's just take one more breath where you can feel that lift. So inhaling, coming through all the chakras for yourself. Keep the inhalation going. Exhale. So if that doesn't make any sense, please don't worry about it. We're going to go through some asanas now. So let's come now to kneeling at the back of the mat. So we're going to work with the tailbone and the pelvic floor, the first 2 chakras. So as you come, it's very subtle movement this. So the tailbone's coming down, and I don't know if you can see, my pelvis is just moving a small amount. So you feel the core of the base of the body moving. It's a very small movement through the tailbone. So you feel the tailbone rooting down. That's your base, your root, your security. And just flow above it. So it's just that nice movement. Good. Couple more of these. And then root your tailbone down. Bring the fingertips forward. Extend the arms and keep rooting down through the tailbone. So it's almost like you're squeezing the anus and the perineum together. Sorry to talk about rude things. And then lift up. And then press the hands down. Release the head down as much as you can. If you can get it to the mat, that's great. But keep the tailbone rooting down. Take a full deep breath so the sides of the ribs open. And then lift the head and neck. Walk the hands back. Come onto the fingertips. Tuck the toes under. So now you feel your root coming down as you come into a squat. So lifting up. So you've just got that moment of balance. And now you've got the toes connected in as well, which is also part connected to the first chakra, the toes and the feet, because they're your stable base as well as a human being. Press the hands down and now come into the feet. Bring the feet a little bit further away from each other and feel that line from the heels to the tailbone, the pelvis hanging, the head hanging. One full inhalation here. Exhale, release the head down. Spread the feet so you feel firm in your base. And then walk forward onto the hands and the knees. Keep the toes tucked under for the moment. Press the hands down. So we're mixing now first and second chakra. So inhale. Pelvic floor moving. Exhale. And then roll the pelvis, come forward. Hang from the hands. You're shifting from the pelvis. Release the toes, open the throat. Bring the chin down first. Shift from the pelvis, tuck the toes under. Coming back into the squat. Inhale. Exhale, press the hands down. Extend the legs, release the head. Inhale here. So we'll do that a couple of times. Exhale, walking forward onto the hands and the knees. Keep the toes tucked under. Inhale. Tailbone coming down. Exhale. And then rolling through. Lifting the chest forward. Release the toes. Chin down first. Pelvis moving back. Tuck the toes under. Coming into the squat. So it should start to become a little bit familiar. Try to really get that sense of grounding now through the feet as you release. We'll do that whole thing one more time. Inhale here. As you exhale, walking forwards. Toes tucked under. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe get a little bit deeper into the movement. And then leaning forward, releasing the toes. Opening the front body, tailbone stays down, chin drawing in, coming all the way back, tuck the toes under. We're into a squat. Inhale, exhale, tailbone and heels connected, head falling forwards. Stay for one more breath here. And come back onto the hands and knees. And walk the hands a little bit further forward now. So we're going to come into our first downward dog with a focus on the pelvis connected to the heels. So you want to try to open the backs of the legs and feel like the tailbone can come down but the pelvis can broaden. And then bring the breath really low down towards the abdomen. So you start to feel the pelvic floor lifting to support you. So we'll just stay with that sense of balance through the feet as we lift the right leg up. And they extend through the right heel. Feel that long line from the tailbone to the crown of the head. And then bring the right leg back. Come up onto the toes. Inhale. Exhale, press the heels down, lift the pelvis higher. And then keep that firm base now through the right leg, extend the left leg up. Reach the left leg away from you, keep the right leg firm. So you've got a firm base through the tailbone and the pelvis. Bring the left leg back, lift up onto the toes. Press the heels down, look towards your hands. You're going to come forward to the front of the mat. Extend the chest forward. Release the head down. And now as you roll up, lift up through the left leg. Inhale. Exhale, releasing down again. So get that connection base to feet. Inhale. Lift up right leg. And then just bring the right leg down. So we just feel the shift from the feet into the pelvis. So just shifting. Isn't really yoga, but just feel that shift side to side. You can do what you want with the arms. I like to just shift them. So it's quite a low shift where you feel the pelvis shifting, and then you've got that point of balance. You can even suspend it a little bit. Feel like you're doing a little dance. Lovely, everyone. So shift a couple more times. So just get the leg lifting so you feel that point of balance. And then bring both feet together. Feel the connection now, feet, tailbone, pelvis. So you can just fly up and float. Lift the arms up. So you're perfectly balanced. And then release the arms down as the heels come down and the crown of the head goes higher. Good. So you should have all that base supporting you now through the rest of the class. And so the base will support you, and the flow in the pelvic floor will help you to get the breath and the flow. So we're coming now to more towards the belly, the fire in the belly. So just press the hands into the navel so you can feel where it is. And without gripping onto the navel, just feel almost as if you can feel really strong and confident around the navel area. So now we'll get some fire in the belly by coming into Utkatasana. So sit back, make sure you see your toes, and then sit a little bit further. So now you feel that squeezing action. Lift the arms up. Take a breath. And then send the pelvis lower as you lift the chest more. Check you can see your toes, lean back a little bit further. One more breath. Come a little bit lower. Extend the chest over the thighs, fingertips to the floor, and then release the head down, extend through the legs. Let go in the head and neck. So left leg back. We are going to come into some planks. So if you don't want to do plank, you can always come on to all fours. So extend back through the left leg, left heel firm. Stay low and extend the arms forward. So you really have to use your core to feel strong, but at the same time quite soft. Extend the arms behind you. Lift the chest. Feel the strength in your body. Hands fully down now, coming into plank pose. Take a breath here till you feel really solid. Or if you're on all fours, that's fine. Right hand coming underneath the right shoulder, and then turn into side plank. Or you can bring one knee down. Lift the left arm up. So those of you that are super strong, you can try to lift the left leg up. Or just stay with the left foot in front of the right. One more breath. And then reaching back into plank. Bend the knees, coming through this little flow, rolling forwards. Inhale, release the toes. Exhale, tuck the toes under. Walk all the way back. And then come into the squat. So we'll just see now if we can take a little balance here. I've got slidey trousers on, so I might not be able to. So come onto the toes. You just stay here if you want. Maybe lift one leg. Maybe lift both legs. Try not to fall forward. Lift the head up. Come back into the squat. Exhale, folding forward. Release the head down. Take a breath. Feel all the energy now that you're getting a bit warmer. Walk forward into downward dog. So try to keep the heels connected to the pelvis. And now you're using your core a little bit more. Press back through the hands. Now keeping everything stable, left arm to right leg. Reach it forward again. And then lift your right leg up. Reach further back with the right leg than you think. Keep energy in the leg. And then just let's step forward with the right leg. Hoik it through if you need to, like me. And feel that low lunge again. Try and keep the pelvis low. And now we're twisting towards the right. So ribcage rotating. Whole of the navel area rotating. And right arm extending up. Take a few breaths here. Rotate a little bit more. Squeeze the abdomen. Circle the right arm forward. And then we're just coming to the front of the mat and maybe into a little bit of a wider squat now. Lift up. Then as you press your heels down, we're just going to lift straight up. Hands to the belly. Reach the left leg back into warrior three. Try and find your firm base. Lift the left leg forward. Lift the left leg up. Then we'll just finish that little sequence with the left leg coming into Utkatasana. So just take your time to find your balance. It's quite a strong little sequence. Bring the hands to the belly. So feel now the foot, your base, the core, the flow through the pelvis, fire in the belly. Good, and then lift up. Exhale. Coming straight back into Utkatasana to do the other side. So even though it's strong work, try and keep a calmness in the breath, in the face, in the joy of doing yoga. Draw the navel back. It's just going to support you without gripping on. One more breath here. And then exhale, lean forward. Bring the hands to the floor and start to open the backs of the legs as the head comes down. Stepping back, right leg to the back of the mat. And wiggle it as far back as it will go. And then find your base as the arms come forward, the heel goes back. Try and lay the chest on the thigh and drop the pelvis down. Reach the arms behind you, reach the chest forward. And then hands down. So if you're not doing plank, come onto all fours. Step the left leg back until you're in plank pose. So firm up the thighs, firm up the core. Left leg, left arm even, underneath the left shoulder, and then shift to the left. So if you need to keep one foot in front of the other, do. If you can press into that, both feet, lift up. And again, if you can lift the right leg up. One more breath. Good, everyone. Rolling back without collapsing, if you can. Plank pose. Coming through the flow. Keep the toes tucked under. Inhale. Exhale. Release the toes. Lift the chest forward. Tuck the toes under as you come back. Walk back into the little squat. Toes together this time. So lift up first. And then if you're taking a little balance, hands fully down, elbows pressing into the thighs, lift up. So you might just want to go onto the toes, that's fine. Back and forward a few times. If you can get your balance, keep the head lifted, one foot, maybe the other foot. Releasing back into the squat, folding forwards. Spread the toes, release the head. Take a breath here. Feel the navel drawing upwards. You can even look up towards the navel. And then walking forward. Try and keep the heels down as long as you can as you come into downward dog. And walk the hands all the way to the front of the mat. Keep the navel supporting you as you bring the right arm to the left leg. Try not to lean too much to the left. And then extend the right arm forward. Find your downward dog. And lift the left leg up. Firm through the right leg, firm through your core. And then flow your left leg forward. Right leg stays long. Chest coming forward to start with. Squeeze the hips together. Right hand by the left foot. And then start to roll the ribs, roll the core all the way towards the left. So you've got your left shoulder on top of the right. Head in line with the tailbone. And then reach the left arm up. Go a little bit deeper. Squeeze the abdomen round. And then extend your left arm forward. Press the right heel back. Both hands down. Coming into perhaps a little bit of a wider squat. Elbows into the legs and lift up. So now as you come up, the hands are coming towards the navel. And then reach the right leg back until you're in warrior 3 on the left. Bring the right leg through, lift it up, and then lift, turn out in the hip. Find your Utkatasana. Find that calmness at the end of that strong sequence. Quieten the face. Feel all those connections through the body. Lift the arms up. And release down. So before we move on towards the heart center, we'll just take one vinyasana just to feel those connections now. So inhale, press the heels down. Exhale, folding forward. Release the head. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step back into plank or come onto all fours. And then elbows in, chest forward. If you can come to upward dog too, otherwise come to cobra. Lift up. Exhale, downward dog. Stay for 3 breaths here. So use these breaths to make those connections through the body. Tailbone, broadness across the back of the pelvis. Navel lifting up. Breath long, spine long. Last breath. Enjoy the full length of the body. And then just walk forward to the front of the mat. Extend the spine forward. Release the head, lift all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, close the eyes for a moment and feel the breath in and out of the body. So now we're coming towards the opening of the heart center. But now we've got all the support from underneath. So this is really, and we can feel it when we feel emotional. This is where we feel it. It's just above the heart. So it's finding balance around the heart center gives you the ability to love and be loved. So we all want that, don't we? So bring the arms behind you, right index finger on top. And then press the knuckles down as the shoulders draw together. And you feel that lifting and opening of the heart center, but supported fully now by the base of the body. So allow yourself to lean backwards without sending the lumbar area forwards. And then keeping the opening in the chest, we're opening the back of the heart center as the arms come overhead as much as you can, or keep the arms down. Let go in the head and feel the back of the heart center opening now. Now as you release the arms, soften into the knees, left arms coming all the way up and around, left legs coming back until you're in warrior 2 with the right leg bent. And then lift your right arm up until you're in reverse warrior 2. So you feel all that opening through the rib cage. And then maybe sink a little bit lower. Back leg firm. Walk the back leg in a little bit and lengthen the front leg. Keep the arm coming backwards, reverse Utkatasana. Long breath down the left side, right side body even. Firm up your base. And then extend the arms. Keep the legs in Utkatasana. And then we'll bring the right arm down, the left arm up. Full Utkatasana now. So both sides of the ribs opening. Back and front of the heart center opening. Go on investigating the pose with the breath. Lengthen more through the spine, more through the ribs. And then as you lift the right arm up, turn the right foot in. Coming into Charlie's Angels pose, press both sides of the feet down. tailbone down, navel back. Interlock the fingers behind you, right index finger on top again. And now as you press the feet down, feel the heart center opening, but the base, your solid base, is supporting you. Inhale here. As you exhale, release the arms and let the hands just slide down the legs until they're on the outside of the ankles or the calves. Bend the elbows out. So now you should feel the back of the heart center opening. So keep a softness in the shoulders. And then strength in the legs. Release the head further down. So the more you lift your pelvic floor, the core, the navel up, the deeper the spine will go down. One more breath here. And then walk the hands back towards the right foot. Turn everything to face the front of the mat. Left knee to the floor. So this is a very well-known heart opening pose, Anjaliana. So lift the chest, keep your base, and then reach the arms behind you. Lift a little bit more. Bring the hands back to the heart center. Lift the chest more. Press your hands down, and then come moving the right leg over, come into pigeon pose. So we're not going to come forward, keep the left leg back and lift the hips up. So just fingertips to the floor and open the chest, so puff the chest out like a pigeon, but at the same time try not to overdo in the lower back. So you have to keep this action in the pelvis. Lift the chest, open the heart center. Shoulders drawing together. From here, move the hands forward, tuck the left toes, make the left foot strong, turn onto the outside of the left foot and move the right leg until we're in fallen triangle. So you want to have the right hand directly underneath the shoulder. And then open your heart center, the left shoulder's on top of the right, both legs firm. Try and keep the head in line with the tailbone. You're not turning the head backwards. Bring the left hand down. Turn the left toes. So just do something wonderful here. Bring the right foot to the left and then turn. Press the right foot down. We're coming into Wild Thing. Ultimate heart opening pose. So everything's open now. One more breath. Bring your right hand back to the right hip. Slide yourself onto the left hip. Roll all the way around. Relax the thighs now, but find your base as you come into Cobra. So now we're starting to come towards the throat a little bit as well. Coming all the way back. Tuck the toes under. Bring the crown of the head to the floor. Coming into hare pose. So the pelvis stays up. It's a bit hard to leave the microphone on, but so you're curving the spine, back of the heart center open. Hold the ankles, lift the navel, open the back of the heart center. And then press the hands into the mat. Lift up. Bring the hands to the top corner of the mat. Keep the pelvis lifted and keep the toes tucked under or not. Coming into Anahatasana. So chin and chest down, back of the heart center, melting heart pose. So feel that softening through the back of the heart center, front of the heart center broadening. Full deep breathing. See if on this next breath you can just melt a little bit more towards the mat. And then ease the hands back. Move the right foot off and open the left leg. So press into the outside of the left foot, left shoulder on top of right, head in line with the tailbone, reach the left arm all the way over. So now you've got a long line, left fingers to left foot, whole of the side body fully open. And then releasing the left arm. Bring the right leg back, step forward, left leg, tuck the right toes under. Find a nice open standing lunge now. Circle the arms round and then just step back to the front of the mat. Take a breath. So each time we come back to the front of the mat, see if you can make those connections through the body. Heel, tailbone, pelvic floor, core of the body, heart center. So in the back and the front of the body. Left index finger on top as you bring the arms behind you. Send the tailbone down, keep your core strong and start to lift and open the chest up. If you can, open the throat as well and look behind you. But keep your core working so you're not coming into the lumbar. And then exhale, releasing down. Head falling away from the tailbone. Arms coming overhead if you can. So depending on your flexibility in the shoulders and the hips. If it feels too much, just extend the arms behind you. Breathe into the side of the ribs. Let go in the head. Release the arms down. And then right arm, right leg stepping back until you're in warrior two. You have to go quite a long way back. Sink the left hip down and then reach the left arm into reverse warrior. So you should be feeling the energy building now. Full deep opening through the left side ribs. And then if you need to bring the back leg in a little bit, I definitely do. Straighten the front leg, coming into reverse Utkatasana. More and more space down the left side body. And then lengthen the arms, lengthen the sides of the ribs equally as you come into Utkatasana. So back and front of the heart center open, head and tail connected, navel drawing back to support you. And then as you lift up, turn the left toes in, lift up into Charlie's Angels pose, tailbone down, fingers up. Release the arms behind you, left index finger on top. Open the chest, lift up, maybe even look back. So keep your firm base so you don't fall over. And then as you release forward with the chest, release the arms and then start to open the back of the heart center. Hands coming, so if you're taking your hands behind the legs, bring the thumbs with you as well. So you can keep that connection from the hands in a nice soft circle towards the back of the heart center. Take some long, deep breaths here. Feel the strength and energy in the legs, the core, as the upper body softens further down. Just notice if you lift your navel up, the head will come deeper in. And then walking the hands back to the front of the mat. Right knee to the floor, left leg bent. Hands to the heart center and start to nudge the heart away from the pelvis as you lift into Anjaliana. And then bring the hands back to the heart center. Always feels good after that pose. And then wiggling the left foot over. Fingertips down. Try and square up the hips. I can't do it this so well on this side, but if you can get the chest a little bit further back over the pelvis, then do. Try not to do what I'm doing actually. And then lift the chest up and forward. But keep the hips squeezing together. Throat's coming into it now. And we're going to work up towards the throat in the next little sequence. And then coming forward, pressing the hands down, energize your right leg, and then turn the right foot in as you reach the left leg up by the left leg by the right hand. Reach the right arm up. And then lift up, fallen triangle. So we've got a nice little move here. Turn the right toes, extend the chest forward. Left leg meets the right, and then slide over until you come into Wild Thing. Open the chest, open the hips, open the heart center. Enjoy that deep opening through the whole of the front body. Left hand to left hip. Right hip to the floor. Soften the right thigh so you can roll over easily. And lift up into Cobra. So again, the throat is coming in a little bit now. Tongue soft. And then coming all the way back. Tuck the toes under. Coming into hare pose, we bring the crown of the head to the floor. I can't quite do it actually because of the microphone. And then bring the hands to the heels, but really overemphasize the curve of the spine. Back of the heart center open. Navel lifting fully up. And then walking the hands right to the top corner of the mat. You can keep the toes tucked under or release the shins down, whichever feels better for you. And then soften through the back body. You're melting the back body to the front body. Try and keep the throat open and the chin a little bit forward. Pelvis is up. Navel is back. Hips are drawing together. Bring the left hand underneath the left shoulder, left knee off the floor, left foot off the floor, right foot down, and then open now the right side body. Try not to let the head fall off the spine, but keep it in line with the tailbone. So you can make all those connections through the body. Lovely. Extend more. And then bringing the right arm back. Tuck the toes of the left foot as you step the right leg through and push into nice deep lunge warrior. Bring the hands to the heart center and then just step to the front of the mat. Close the eyes, take a breath. So in this breath, again, make all those connections from the feet up to the tailbone, pelvic floor, core of the body, heart center. And we're coming to think about the throat chakra. So inhale. Exhale, fold forward, back of the neck long. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, step back to downward dog. Bring the toes a little bit towards each other and the heels out so you're broad across the sacrum. And just do a little yes and no with the head and tuck the chin in. So you feel a little bit of constriction in the throat maybe. Just for a moment, see how that feels, and then release the head and neck. And then coming down, bring the elbows down and come onto the front of the body. So we're coming into Sphinx Pose. So you should have a nice firm base now. Lift and open the chest and then open the throat. And then you can open the mouth and stick the tongue out. So as you stick the tongue out, you feel all the sinews and the muscles in the throat working. Draw the tongue in, release the head down. And then coming back, tuck the toes under. And lift the pelvis up. So heart center and throat are quite connected. So we're working by lifting the heart center and then lifting. There's a version of Utkatasana. We're going to keep the hands to the heart center. Then open the throat. Please don't do this if your neck is hurting. But if you can lift up through the core and then send the arms up. So you're opening the throat. Bring the hands back to the heart center. So we don't often look up or use our head in this way. We're often down here. So it's really good to just have those moments. But sometimes you can feel a little bit strained afterwards. So don't strain. Let's come back onto the elbows and knees now. Interlock the fingers. Bring the knees in a little bit. Then we're just going to bring the crown of the head to the floor. Lift up onto the toes, walk the feet in, and then lift the head so the throat's open. Bend the knees, coming back into this version of Utkatasana with the throat opening. And we'll just repeat that one more time. Inhale. Exhale, keep the toes tucked under. Interlock the fingers. If you can go the other way with the fingers, that's all good. Head down to start with. Lift the pelvis up. And then lift the head, look forward. Bend the knees. If you want to do full Utkatasana this time, then please do. Bring the hands to the heels. Open the throat, open the chest. Lift the arms to the heart center. Release the toes. Sink the pelvis back. Bring the knees together. Hands behind you, head to the floor. And settle into a nice child pose. So head down, spine curved, knees together. And then just take a few breaths, feeling the effects of all that work. And then we'll come to lying on the back of the body with the knees up and the feet on the floor. So feel now the spread at the back of the body, feet included, feet, pelvis, ribs, back of the head. Now engage the feet, bring the shoulders a little bit underneath the body and roll the pelvis up until you're in bridge pose. Interlock the fingers underneath you. Send the tailbone forward. Now you feel that constriction on the throat a little bit. So maybe even drop the chin a little bit down and lift the chest up more. Keep lifting up, keep pressing the feet down. Now as you release the hands, press the palms of the hands fully into the mat. Lay the pelvis down over the hands. Extend the legs out one at a time. Then energize the legs by pointing through the toes. Draw the shoulders together, crown of the head to the floor, throat open, chest open. That's the asana. Breathe from shoulder to shoulder. Then release the back of the head, bend the knees up again. Bring the feet to the floor, take a breath. Bring a hand on the belly, hand on the heart center if you want. And we'll just repeat that sequence. So take an inhalation. As you exhale, press fully up into bridge. So lift the pelvis up. Interlock the hands underneath you. And start bringing the chest further towards the throat. Good. So feel that little constriction in the throat. Feel the pelvic floor working, the core drawing back, the tailbone down. All those places we've touched on. And then as you release the hands, press the palms of the hands down, roll down through the spine and bring the pelvis on top of the hands. Extend the legs one at a time. So feel that energy through the toes as you squeeze the shoulders together, press into the elbows, lift the crown of the head to the floor, the chest is fully open. So now you're connecting towards the crown of the head as well. Carefully release. Bring the knees bent again. Good. And then roll over onto your right side. So be at a right angle, right arm, left arm on top. And then extend the legs out. So you're like an L shape. So try if you can to keep the feet together here as you circle the left arm all the way around. So you're coming into, I think it's called Maltese cross, this twist. Try and drop your left side pelvis down and release and look over the left shoulder. So now after all the strong work we've done, come into this nice open twist. Stay for a few breaths here, so settle into it. Try if you can to keep the left foot on top of the right. And the left shoulder might not touch the floor, that's fine. Let it settle further down on the exhalations. Relax the left fingers. Relax the tongue in the mouth. So take the arms like a cross as well now, so one arm away from the other. And then lift your left leg up, followed by the right leg. Press the hands in between the thighs. Go ahead, just lift the head if you want. Extend the legs away from each other. Release the head down or keep it lifted. Try and keep the pelvis on the floor though. Soften through the knees and then roll all the way to the left side. Extend the legs out till the right leg's on top of the left. And circle the right arm round. Both arms extending away from each other. And softening through the right shoulder. Tongue heavy, face passive. Reach the right leg up, followed by the left leg, but keep them away from each other. And extend into the heels as you open the legs away from each other. Press the pelvis down. Backs of the legs opening more. And then bend the knees. If you can come into happy baby pose, then do. The knees towards the chest. So just enjoy that, being a baby again. And then whenever you're ready, we'll rock back up to sitting. So if you want to sit on something for this, we're going to just do some Pranayama that will help you connect to the, possibly to the sixth chakra, the third eye, which Shavasana will do as well. But so I don't know if you can see, we're going to bring the two peace fingers. The first and second finger will come up to the third eye, and the thumb will connect to the last two fingers. And you'll bring the thumb and the last two fingers just to the bridge of the nose, so that you will be restricting the breath, but you're not pinching really hard on the nose. It's just a soft restriction. So I'll do it with you and try and talk and breathe at the same time. So fingers to the third eye, and then there's two little fingers. So you're restricting the inhalation to start with. You can bring the chin down a little bit. So a little bit of pressure as you inhale. Soft release of the fingers as you exhale. And again, bring that little bit of pressure, inhale. Keep the, and exhale, release. Keep the two fingers firmly between the eyebrows or just above the eyebrows. Little bit of pressure on the inhalation. So you're not fully restricting, you're just a little bit restricting, and exhale. Two more. Inhale, close off the bridge of the nose. Press the first two fingers more firmly. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. And then release the hands on the exhalation. Breathe normally. And then we'll go with the other hand. So it's a little bit more difficult if you're using your non-dominant hand. But and then we'll go with the exhalation. So we're restricting on the exhalation now. So just notice which is perhaps more difficult. Press the 2 fingers between the eyebrows, and then thumb and 2 little fingers, restricting the bridge of the nose, not the nostrils. So inhale without restriction. Light restriction on the exhalation. Keep the face and mouth passive. Inhale to release. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, release the fingers. Exhale, a little bit of restriction. One more. Inhale to release. Long exhalation with that restriction at the bridge of the nose. Next inhalation, release the hands down. Take a mudra now with the thumb and the index finger. Extend the arms out and then feel all those connections through the body, from the tailbone, pelvic floor, solar plexus, core of the body, heart center, back and front of the throat, space between the eyebrows towards the back of the skull, the third eye, and right up through the crown of the head. So I'll just do that again with the colours if that's useful for you. So from the tailbone, red, lifting up, orange, yellow to the belly, green at the heart center, blue at the throat, indigo or violet at the third eye, and releasing white through the crown of the head. So I haven't really talked much about the 7th chakra, which is at the crown of the head. But it's the ultimate chakra for non-attachment, which is the hardest thing in the world. So I'd like to do a few moments with legs up the wall. If you haven't got a wall, then bring your feet onto the sofa, your legs onto the sofa or a chair. So if you could just bring yourself now, so the back is on the floor and the legs are up the wall or higher than your pelvis. The other pose that's brilliant for the throat chakra, of course, is shoulder stand, which we didn't have time to do. And of course, for the crown of the head is headstand. Again, we haven't really had time to do that. So before we come into Shavasana, we'll just have the legs up the wall for 5 minutes. So settle the back body and allow that reverse flow of blood now from the feet towards the head. I'll just read you something out while you're lying here. So by creating alignment in the body, hopefully the chakras will become more balanced. Your body always does reflect any imbalance that you've got, and when it's aligned, there's more balance and stability and a more solid base and a more emotional stability. So yoga practice is the first step towards alignment in the body and balance through the chakras. And I like this idea, instead of trying to change or force the mind to change or our habits to change through forcing our mind to think differently, yoga practice will help to realign the body and then change your physical energy, and that will also potentially change your behaviors and the way you think. So it's with yoga practice, asana practice, that the body and awareness can access the mind. So I really like that idea that we can think a little bit more with the body rather than forcing our minds. So just be fully present in your body for these last few moments of this class. I know sometimes in the last few moments of class it tend to come back into the mind. And really we have the same thoughts going round and round in our minds all the time. Well, I do anyway. So we have these same few thoughts just going round, and sometimes they can make us a bit anxious or thinking into the future that may or may not happen. So by being present in the body, in the breath, we can just let the mind rest and let life unfold by itself. And be more open to change, more open to being kind to ourselves and others. So if it's helpful to notice those colours, or to think about those points in your body where perhaps you feel you've got a little bit of a weakness or too much strength, either way, you want to find an evenness through those points where you can be more balanced, more stable, more emotionally open, able to communicate, able to follow our intuitions, and have the ability to let go of stuff. So when you're ready now, just soften through the knees, bring the knees to the chest, roll over, and then find your place where you're going to do your Shavasana. So you want to be comfortable and warm. And settle fully the back and the front of the body. So like the seventh chakra, crown of the head, Shavasana is the ultimate pose of non-attachment, letting go, which is the hardest thing to do. I don't think any of us, well, I don't think I'll ever achieve it, but can always kind of allow a few moments of that deep peace, deep letting go. So through our yoga practice, we want to cultivate a strength and flexibility in the body, a quietness in the mind, and an open and generous heart. So just allow yourself to be still and quiet for these last few minutes as you come into Shavasana. So as we start to come back into the body, maybe notice any patterns or colours you can see behind the eyes. And then just take a couple of swallows with the mouth, so, or even move the lips and the tongue. And then rub the thumbs across the fingers, move the toes away from each other. And then as you bring the hands back onto the belly, take a deeper breath. Bend the knees up. And roll on to one side. Come back to sitting. Fold the palms at the heart center. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully.